welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 53. It is our 1 year anniversary look
Birthday
back
bash.
extravaganza.
That's the word right
I don't
there.
know what it's going to be yet, but as always, my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah,
Hey, what's up?
and my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
And for the first time, other
Yeah.
than a Patreon episode, the first in-studio guest, it's not really studio, but you might know him from Twitter, Mikey G.
What's up, guys?
Hold on, can we proper introduction here? Just real quick. Just give it up for him.
Thank
Yeah.
He,
Yeah.
Mikey lives not too far away from us, so we've been wanting to do this for a while, and he came to us. We're going to get his perspective on the look back over the year, because you've been with us for a while now.
Yeah.
And we also got Mikey to answer the questions that we all answered on episode 0.
Yeah.
Which
I'm really excited.
the people that listen now, I don't know how many of them have listened to episode 0. I don't know if I'd recommend it because we didn't really know what we were doing.
It was
Right.
a hot mess.
It was a good one. I went back and listened. It was really good.
Okay.
It's
that
like
makes me feel better.
Are you just saying that because you're in my house?
No.
It's like a television show, though, right? Like, you can tell a clear progression in, like,
Oh, yeah.
our personalities
Right.
and, like...
Oh my gosh, it's like
It's awesome.
The Office season 1 versus season 5.
Right.
That's
Yes.
totally
Like,
different.
I'm on season 5 right now.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
good
you
one.
hated Michael Scott.
And now I love him.
You don't know what he did to Pam's mom yet.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, so I always try to tell people like who are watching new TV shows, like get past the pilot, like the first episode, because they're trying to figure out character dynamics, like what works, what doesn't. So when we recorded that episode 0 on July 4th of last year, I think I had to do the intro like 5 or 10 times.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I was doing.
Sounds right, yeah.
We had an issue with Jake's mic where it kept picking up all of our other stuff, and I would keep having, when I edited it, I had to like drop the volume up and down. It was a big nightmare. I contacted some like audio engineering friends in Nashville. They tried to help me through it. We fixed it by, I don't know what word I said. We fixed it by episode 1. But basically, I think we were 2 or 3 days before the premiere of Final Reckoning, and we're like, oh, we gotta get going. And we had, I believe, 66 downloads after 1 week.
And
Does that sound right?
Solid.
And then, here we are a year into it, and we're over 90,000 downloads, which is just crazy. It's bizarre.
In confirmed over 90 countries, and then we have about 50-something that we don't know where they're from. And so that's insane. It's every continent but Antarctica at this point.
Well, there's nothing
There's
on
nothing-
Antarctica.
yeah.
Well, I'm
so-
hoping like some like research scientist
Eskimo
goes
or
one
something.
day.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, you know what? I need a good podcast while I break
I'm
up
assuming
ice.
they have to have internet at some degree to be able to like send information back. So maybe one day we'll
Yeah.
get there. But I do know we have a big enough like audience in Australia now that on our stats map, like it's breaking down Australia by like provinces or whatever they're called
That is
down
so
there.
cool.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Right along with the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mom was super proud of that.
Of Australia.
No, the fact that like when you showed her the graph and how it's like broken it up because we have like enough listeners there, she thought that was super cool, even though she doesn't understand
That
podcasts.
is so cool.
So Hannah and I went to eat with my mom and my my grandma, and they still do not understand what this is
Yeah,
or what we
his
do.
grandma was like, so what is it you do? And I told her, I was like, basically it's like a radio show, except you can listen to it at any time, anywhere.
Right.
And she's like, oh, okay. And I was like,
She's like,
best way to explain
it's
it.
really neat how the internet can bring the world together. And I was like, that's it.
They're great.
That's nice.
I love
Yeah.
them.
Because otherwise, we don't meet a guy like Mikey,
Right.
right?
I
And
know,
you're-
right?
and
He's
again,
right
you're-
down the road from us.
You're an hour away from us.
Yeah.
And so
Because even though we watched the challenge, like, prior to this podcast, I don't think any of us were engaged in challenge Twitter, which is just a whole different world in
Yeah.
itself.
I think I'm
It
still
is.
not.
No, you're not.
Purposefully.
we followed, I think, a select few people, like our favorites. I did at least. But I did not like actively engage in,
Right.
oh, can you believe this happened? I still don't really. Our account does, like our corporate account.
Right.
But the problem is, this season we don't get to watch live, and so we're watching it on delay, which because Wednesdays just don't work for us, and so we can't really like tweet along or anything.
Right.
Is that season 34 or this past season?
The 34? We have no idea when it's
Okay.
what day or
Yeah. No trade.
yeah. They haven't announced anything officially yet. The theme and the name and cast are all out there, but nothing is official. And again, we're spoiler free, so
Yes.
we're not going to talk about it
Yes.
until there's an official announcement.
Well, before we get into, because we talked about, right, with this 1 year extravaganza, just like how we wanted to approach it. We didn't want it to just be us three, whether it was, interviewing a cast member or whatever. We all thought of Mikey here. We all thought of Mikey because,
and we talked about doing it in the past, and it just kind of made sense to kind of bring it all together.
yeah. And so not only is he right down the road from us, but you've been listening to us almost since day one.
Yeah.
It was early on.
It was really early. I think it was with the Marie interview.
Probably.
Yeah.
So it was like episode 5 and a half or 6
yeah.
and a
And
half.
then after
something like
that, I went back and listened to all the other earlier ones too. Yeah.
I mean, it was like a month and a half into us doing this. Yeah. It still didn't really know what we were doing. She was technically the first person to agree to do an interview with us.
I thought Brandon was the first person to agree.
No.
But we recorded with her first. Or was that
Backwards.
the opposite?
You got it backwards.
Okay.
Marie agreed first because I made fun of her on Twitter. And
That's
sent-
right.
and
It was
sent a-
like episode 2 of
and I
that
sent a
season.
picture out
The pants tube.
because it looked she looked like she was wearing a tube of
Yeah.
pants, and she thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, do you want to come on our show?" And she's like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And
That's
so
Now we're
awesome.
friends.
she agreed to come on, but just for the timing of the episodes, she's like, "Let's wait a couple weeks until there was like a really specific
Something to good.
thing she could talk about." And so Brandon came on like a week before, and again, Brandon's actually doing more challenge related stuff now. He's just on Challenge Mania. He's doing one of their live things, so maybe that'll generate some buzz.
I hope that's some foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I
we like
really
Brandon
hope
a lot.
so.
That would be really cool.
I'm here. What'd you look at me
I don't-
for?
I thought you had something else to bring up.
You-
I like when you look at me, though.
Yeah, but your face just had that look like, I gotta say something.
Yeah.
And then you didn't.
So you guys are actually going to listen to me for once. What a day.
Okay, so
What
let's
a
get
day.
into these
Well,
questions.
before-
Now that he's trying to talk.
Before we get into the questions, one thing we brought up off mic, like before we started recording, is so Mikey
Yes.
is definitely a part of Challenge World that the three of us are not, and we'd like to get your insight on some of it because
yeah.
you're definitely, I think, would self-identify Stan Twitter.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I hate saying it in front of people.
It's
But yeah.
a safe space in
right.
here. So,
Yeah. It's
what is your take on it as
it's
someone
toxic.
involved in it?
It's toxic.
Okay.
It's toxic. It's toxic. I mean, I've gotten to the point now. I used to like be a lot messier about it, but I would never be like outright mean to anybody.
Yeah.
I would just like defend people until yeah. But I've kind of just chilled out on it now. But from what I can still see everybody's comments and everything, and it's just ridiculous sometimes. And
Definitely.
yeah, I've just kind of had to take a step back from being so like vehemently like defending my faves because sometimes it's just not worth it. And I don't think that they even, I mean, they appreciate it, the cast that we are defending, but I think that they would rather us kind of just live our lives. And
I think that from the ones we've talked to, they all understand that it's not really going to change anyone's mind.
oh yeah, no,
And so even though they appreciate it, like you said, like they ultimately know you're just kind of wasting your own time.
exactly. Yes, yes.
It's just how it is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a strange world that I personally don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I get having favorites, like that's fine.
Mhm.
I don't get anyone who says something about my person, I'm gonna try to ruin their life.
No, yeah, that makes no sense at all. But yeah, I mean, it can be fun. There's a lot of really big personalities and the Stan Twitterverse, and I don't know, it's just kind of fun to see them go at it with each other in a fun way. When it's done in a fun way,
When it's totally playful.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
different.
There's no like belittling and like
Uh-huh.
tearing each other down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can get behind that. That's
Yeah.
fun.
And that side of it, I get it.
Mhm.
It's not for me, but I get it. The side again that we've talked about is just like trying to get people fired
Oh,
and trying to like
that's
go after
just
stuff
so
outside of the
dumb.
show.
Oh my god, that gets me heated sometimes. Like, why would you do that? I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all.
It's weird.
Uh-huh.
I
It is
just
so
like
weird.
when the people have like a quick wit. I like to read those. 'Cause,
Mhm.
like if it's like a really like good burn that you weren't expecting.
Oh
out of
yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but most of the Stan Twitter that we come across, I mute because they are very quick to reveal spoilers. Like,
Oh, yeah.
well, this person didn't last this long on the new
Yep.
season, and I was like, I don't want to know that.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't
I've had
have.
to
I don't. We don't have you muted. you're an exception.
Thanks. Yeah, well, I mean, it helps that I'm going in spoiler free this season, but yeah.
It's a way to do it.
That's
Yeah,
what we need.
It's not a bad idea, Mikey. Here's
Exactly.
what I think we should do before the night's up, because we're going to go grab a bite to eat after this, all
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
I think, Mikey, you should assist Zach in setting up a Stan account, his own Stan account. And maybe even better yet, let's actually set up that Dunbar
Yeah.
Stan account for
no.
Hannah.
Oh,
I'm
that
not
would
a
be
Dunbar
great.
stan.
So
I was on his side in one argument.
I think you might be the only Dunbar.
if you were going to create a Stan account for one person, who would it be?
That's a good
Who
question.
would you
Jenna.
stan?
Jenna
No,
for
well,
Hannah?
you're already Dunbar. You can't.
weirdly though, like I don't see a lot of Jenna ones out there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she's amazing, and people don't get it.
I think that the Stan universe would say that she's a casual
Boring.
fave. Like the majority of the viewers really cling to her, but the really hardcore fans, I guess.
To me, it seems like the quote Stan side of things, they go towards the more like polarizing personalities.
Yeah,
exactly.
Um, And Jenna kind of falls in the middle. Like you
Yeah.
don't, other than Hannah, you don't really
like,
love her.
I
hate
love her so
typically.
much. She's so awesome. She's so great. I like to see the rare moments where she'll like stand
Get
up for
feisty.
herself
Oh,
and
I
like
love
say
it.
things. But just from everything that I've seen on Twitter, people that talk about her, they just say that she's boring, and I'm like, well, you can have that opinion, but I think she's great. But I'd rather her be boring than like an awful person.
So if you had to assign the three of us someone,
Someone from Stan Twitter. Oh,
Like,
I mean, a
someone
cast
we
member.
had to, yeah.
that you had to stand.
Polly for Zach.
Oh, see, that's perfect. Yeah.
For Zach?
Yeah, not for Jake, for Zach.
Well, Jake
Whoa.
does it voluntarily, just as a front on
but
his own Twitter.
you said had someone
Yeah.
that
Oh,
had
that you
to.
had to. Oh man.
Polly would be a good one.
If
for you.
if I was gonna do it, I would have to be like pick someone really obscure that no one even argues about, and like it'd be like Isaac or someone
Preston,
or someone like that who like isn't
Preston was
into
fun.
anything at this point.
I could be a stan account for Preston. I love him.
He was fun.
Love him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've got two pretty clear-cut ones. Mama Kim.
Yeah, I don't think there's one of those
Well,
for sure.
Let's get that up and
And
running.
then Shailene's birthday party.
Shailene's,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
specifically her birthday party, her birthday bash.
Perfect.
That's the one. That's what I need.
What would you like? Your handle would be Shailene Birthday, and then your actual name would be Shailene's Birthday Bash, and then you only
Yeah.
tweet about
Perfect.
the things that you would theoretically do for a birthday party for
I
her.
would just Photoshop Shailene into like birthday party images.
But like
balloons
that'd be a
stock
good one.
images.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And then you should like actually go to birthday parties and take pictures with people, and then whoever's
I
birthday
would-
it is,
I would Photoshop me in there
Photoshop
too.
her face over the
I think
Yeah.
every party you go to.
you should do like a change.org petition and like ask for a re-edit of this season.
Yeah.
So where they got the
With
footage,
her
you know they
birthday.
have
Right.
it
Oh yeah.
because it happened while
Right.
they were filming. I mean, that is kind of right up your alley.
I'm here for
Seems
it.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm not the
down.
least bit ashamed about it either. I'm not.
I mean, it's one of the weirdest things, especially going back and watching, like even like fringe birthday people. Like we were watching, I think it was the Duel 2. It was like Brooke's birthday. Brooke is someone who was on 2 seasons and never did much at all. But
But
they had a
they-
huge costume party and everyone was hanging out.
I mean, they really celebrated her.
Yeah. Again, it's Shailene. She got the raw end of that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't hear an argument from me on
I've
that.
never seen them do anybody like that on their birthday.
It's
in like all of challenge history.
it's pure disrespect. That's all it is. That's all it is.
I mean, do you want
Poor
her back
Shailene.
next season?
No.
Well,
you can't
he
can't
answered
bring
that, like,
yourself to say
subconsciously.
you cannot bring yourself to say yes. You
No,
you
I
want to
think-
say it just for spite, but there's something in you that just can't say it.
no, I don't think the challenge. I'm rational, right? I don't think the challenge is a place for her. But she
apparently neither
Neither
was
is
the
the Bachelorette
she
or
needs
the Bachelor.
she needs to come back for one season so that she can get the proper send off and birthday bash style.
I
one,
don't know. Maybe
one,
she needs to find a different show, like X on the Beach or Love Island or something.
she would not be good on those shows
No,
either.
I know.
Those are
don't.
all about
Yeah.
drama, and she just is like nothing. Like, They
Yeah.
cut
No.
out her birthday.
What could she even be in then?
She's not made for TV.
Yeah.
She's not.
I don't think so.
So
I'm sorry, Jake.
One thing that like a theme that's been floating out there, and I can't remember the exact title of it, but it was something along the lines of The Walking Dead or something. We talked about it one time before, basically where you bring back the worst of the worst, like 10 or 12 contestants, and then pair them with champions. And it's kind of like a draft how Fresh Meat was.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone that is awful is going to win that season. Mm-hmm. I would like to see that. The problem's going to be you're going to hurt a lot of people's feelings.
Yeah.
Is that going to be like Landon and...
Well, Landon's not coming back.
No, but I mean like theoretically Landon and that blonde chick.
That he won with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, except
I don't
that...
even know her name.
Except
Just that she was not good.
Carly, but except that like these are people who are just bad.
Yeah.
And like they know that they're on the bad side of
Right.
things. Although, look, here's the thing. They've got a chance to legitimately win money.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I would put my pride aside and
Yeah.
just go for it at that point. I wouldn't care.
I think it's a unique twist that we haven't seen. I think it would be hard to get that many really good champs to come back to fill out the rest of the roster.
You could get like Zach to do one.
Yeah.
Frank said he would like to come back.
Yeah, you'd have to dig pretty deep to make some of that work.
CT's he's been in a lot of recent seasons. Wes, Johnny.
Yeah,
there's plenty of people.
There's enough, and then
You've got Kara that's still doing them.
Did Laurel ever win?
Yes, she won with Kenny on Fresh Meat.
That's right.
Laurel would like to come back. You could get people to do it. Smashley.
I'm not arguing it. I
Smashley.
just would like to see it happen, and
that's a good idea.
I just don't know if people are going to be up for it. You could bring back Casey and Siobhan.
Ugh, if they bring back Casey, I won't watch.
You could bring back like Brandon from Are You the One that quit like 3
Devin
seasons
Simone.
ago.
I love Devin Simone.
I thought that guy's name was Nate.
That's a different
That's the
one.
one that wouldn't jump out of the plane.
Yeah. Yep.
He's ripped now, by the way.
That's all right.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Like he's still
He's
short.
still short, but
Yeah.
he's stocky.
Yeah,
now.
he's
I don't know what happened to him.
He's been working out a bunch.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened to him to make him do that.
Probably
'Cause
because he
he
saw
was
himself on TV.
Traumatized.
Polar
by seeing
opposite.
himself.
Well, let's get into some of these questions that we answered exactly a year ago plus a couple days because it's actually July 6th now.
So we're
it's-
2 days late.
Yeah. So basically, the point of the first episode, which we called episode 0 because we wanted episode 1 to correspond with the first episode of Final Reckoning, we just wanted to give you guys our background on the challenge a little bit, some of our thoughts on some things. I know some of my answers have changed, and I actually have my answers still here. Jake and Hannah do not have theirs. I'm still using the same notebook.
I ran out of pages in my first notebook, so I had to get another one.
You do take way more notes than I do.
Yeah, you have 1 page per episode. I usually have 3.
Yeah, it's usually 2 pages. One in the inside.
I have quite a bit more than you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I don't write full sentences. But we did, basically the first one was top 3 males. And Mikey, when you got here, you're asking us, like, is that your favorites or is that, like, the
Performance-wise,
best?
right.
Yeah, and my take on it was these are both. Like, it's people that you really like who are also really good at the challenge. And so I know one of my answers has changed. Do you guys want me to go first?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
start
go
us
ahead.
off.
Yeah.
Okay. So my first 2 are the same. Wes was one. Obviously, Wes is good. Wes, I've always liked him on the show because I watched Real World Austin. CT is my second one. I think that was the same back then when I first did this. The one that's changed, and it's because we've gone back and watched The Ruins and some of those old seasons, I had Kenny as my other one.
Yeah.
And I did really like Kenny at the time. I still think he's good TV. However, just watching back through some old seasons and all that, I'm putting Abram in that spot.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Abram's good TV.
He's
Yeah.
really good TV.
And he's really good at this. Like, he's just a lunatic. You never know what he's going to do. So that's going to be my top 3 right
That's
now.
really good.
So who wants to go next? Let's go in order. So Jake, you go next.
What is this, counterclockwise? Is that what we're doing?
That is
Yes.
correct.
All right, so did you put those in a particular order?
I didn't.
Okay, because I didn't either.
Yeah, mine are just as they came to me.
So when I did this list, I looked at it I took into consideration watchability, competitive nature,
She had a rubric.
wins. Yeah, so I factored all that in. So the first guy I wrote down because he's still recognized as like one of the most feared competitors is Landon.
That's a good one.
Look at my notes.
I know,
That's who I had there, and I marked him out and put Abram.
and he is right. Like
Yeah.
he's still considered like Landon's a bad dude. Like if he's on, he's got as high a chance of anyone, no matter who
wasn't-
you put on his
He
team.
wasn't necessarily like compelling like TV,
But as
he
far
was
as
a
just,
great
like-
competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had Landon on there, and look, I hate to be, I like to go against the grain, but you got to put bananas in there just purely for longevity,
I'm not arguing it.
purely
I'm not
for someone who just has. I mean, when you think bananas, you think the challenge,
I think the other way. When you think the challenge, you think bananas.
and
Yeah.
vice
Yeah.
versa.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way.
Yeah.
And the other guy for me was CT. I mean, look, our podcast is
Hey,
named after CT.
Just by the way, you're gonna make the divide between you and Wes a lot harder after this one.
I'm waiting on. You know what? I don't need the dating app anymore. I'm out on dating apps. So
You're out on
scratch.
dating for a while. You
That is
promised
true.
us.
I did.
You promised us you were
Yeah.
out on
You've also
dating
promised
for a while.
us before on this show.
Well,
And then you broke
Things
that promise
happen.
4 times.
things happen, and the body's a hard thing to control.
Okay. I'm glad that you put it that way to not make it weird.
So, Landon, bananas, and CT.
All respectable. I don't think we're gonna argue with something.
Yeah.
I mean, many on this. So, because this is opinion based.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
very
Mike,
opinion based.
Mikey, what's yours?
My first was CT. I think that we all have him or had him.
I
on
would
the
think so.
list.
Yeah.
My next one, maybe controversial. I don't know. I love how messy Tony was, and then I just love her transformation into
Tony Raines.
Yes.
I
Okay.
love Tony Raines.
Yeah, and-
I love him.
I don't know. He's just sort of like had a journey to me, and he's pretty good now.
He has changed.
Yeah,
Like-
absolutely. Now that he's like stopped drinking and like he can actually focus on the game and he
Right.
performs a lot better.
Right. And then my third is Dustin Zito.
Really?
Wow.
I've always rooted for
I
him,
didn't
sorry.
expect that
His
one.
I got into the show because I watched his Real World
Yeah.
season,
Yeah.
and then that brought me into the challenge.
Huh. Okay. So that makes a little more sense. That's
I get it.
Did you go back and look up the new show that he's on? It's not. I don't even think it made it to air. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. He was on a pilot for a reality show where he's like an apprentice butcher.
What?
In New York? It's really weird. I found the pilot on Vimeo like a year ago, and it's not good TV.
Okay.
But it's like this old school butcher shop,
Yeah.
and he's the new apprentice that doesn't know anything, and it's really weird.
That's
like
weird.
I
We
posted it.
still haven't watched
I
that.
posted some of it in the Slack group.
Uh-huh.
So we gotta get you back in that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch that.
because he's part of our Patreon, and if you get on our Patreon.com/SmashingHits podcast, we post a lot of stuff like that. But
and a lot of fun stuff and food and sports
I
and
mean, yeah.
jokes
we don't post.
and
I guess we
our
post
pets.
food. I don't know. Oh yeah, you saw our pets a minute ago.
Yes, they're so cute.
So Dustin, you do need to look that up. It's really
yeah,
strange.
I'm going to for sure.
Really weird. So Hannah.
Okay. I know for a fact that one of my people on my list has changed because I just know. So
I know
Evan,
what it's gonna be.
Evan is my number one because I just love Evan. CT, of course, I think he's on everybody's list. Turbo.
Confirmed.
Turbo is my number
I knew
3.
Turbo was going to be on yours. I thought about Turbo.
Me too. Yeah.
I know that like this was top 3 males of all time and he was only on this past season, but he performed so excellently and he was good TV and he was funny. There's no way I could leave him out of this list.
He had one of the, arguably the most impressive rookie season
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Because he won the hardest final I think we've seen.
Ever.
And he never went into an elimination. I
Yeah.
would like to see him in elimination.
Never
And he
seen him in
won
elimination.
the hearts of America.
Yeah, like he
Like on
legitimately-
day one.
He
Yeah,
legitimately
yeah.
was like,
He was like a Turkish Jason Bourne at first.
but he like was the nicest guy. It seemed.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Until
and
you-
he
until-
was funny.
Until you crossed him.
Yes.
And then he was done.
You are not man. You are chicken.
Yeah. I thought about putting
I have
Turbo
the
on
heart
there.
of a Leon.
I knew you would, so that's the reason why I didn't.
That's good.
I didn't know
just-
if anyone else would have Abram.
Oh,
and
I
wanted
just love
to.
him so much.
I get
I
it.
can't get enough of him.
I think the most surprising out of the 3 of us or 4 of us would be Mikey to me, but the fact that you started with Dustin Zito's Real World, that's kind of how I am with Wes, with the Real World Austin and all that.
Great season too. That's
you're partial to him, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't start watching
because that was part of the algorithm.
Yeah, I didn't start watching the challenge with Wes's first season. I started actually before that, but that's the first Real World I watched transition into the challenge. So I get it. So top 3 females for me.
I thought this was a lot more clear cut. I didn't feel like this was as difficult to think through. For me, at
this
least.
was the one I had the hardest with.
So
right.
my answers did not change, but I have a modifier on it. Laurel, for sure. Emily Schramm, and then I have old Kara.
Okay.
Oh,
I had Kara, but this is
not like fresh meat Kara, but like
I'm talking about specifically. We're watching through Free Agents right now.
Yeah, Free Agents.
Probably her best season as far as just likability, killing
Super
it.
playful.
Yeah.
She's just real playful. In this season.
And she killed it in those eliminations. She went into a lot and just dominated. She was the underdog then.
Since we start, I feel like it's some weird coincidence that we've like cosmically caused her to be a worse person because we started the show and it turned.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's any way
Why
to prove
did
that.
you make this happen?
You
Why did you do this?
Things had to happen.
Agreed. Yeah.
But you still.
I think she was on my one of my top 3 females from last.
She was on mine
from a
but
year ago.
You got to still give her props.
She's not on my list now.
Yeah. Nope.
Jake.
To me, and I know we're all different here. To me, Laurel and Kara have to be on there.
I agree.
They just do.
I feel like they're not going to agree.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I agree, though.
If we did not have in the algorithm, because I almost put her on this list, and then I was like, no, it's got to be people that we like too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not that I
That's why I
dislike
did
her.
old.
It's just I don't have the same feelings that I did before season 32. Is that what it was?
Well, the last one I threw in here, bit of a wild card, but a little tidbit about her was that she was the first winner when you didn't win just as a team, but you won as individual male and female, and that's Jody.
Okay, I respect that because I have her later on.
Because I've been going back and watching some of these older seasons, right? And she's pretty awesome just from like a competitive standpoint.
She was good.
Yeah, she's really good.
And she's very low-key.
Yeah.
Like, she just competed. She's kind of similar to Landon, like in and out, just wins, doesn't cause any problems.
Won a lot of dailies.
Yeah, I'll talk about her later for sure. So I get it.
But in regards to Kara, real quick, I get the annoyance that most people have with her now.
Yeah.
But being a wrestling fan like I am,
Don't you dare.
I appreciate the villain role she is just like owning now.
But she,
But
credit that to Paulie or whoever you want to,
here's my
or to
question.
us.
the problem is though she doesn't. To me, she doesn't feel like she's a villain. She feels like everyone is a villain to her.
Yeah.
But isn't
But-
that the greatest villain?
No.
No.
The pitiful
Yeah.
feel sorry for yourself villain.
Here's my thing where I kind of understand what you're saying about you tie it into a WWE character almost. Did she not say a few years ago, maybe it was on Instagram or Twitter or something, she said that she wanted to transition into the WWE?
She did say that.
And it
before
almost
we
seems
started
like
the show.
this is her way of doing that. She's turning more
She's
into a
making
character
Oh my gosh.
so that the transition would be a little bit smoother for her to finally get into it.
I don't think she can handle it.
I don't either.
Because you're talking live boos and jeers being tossed your way, not like just stuff on Twitter
And
and whatnot.
Yeah.
it's a much bigger audience than
Yes.
the challenge.
It just almost seems, because that's from when I heard about her wanting to get into it, it was almost like it was a dream of hers.
I think
And maybe this is how she thinks that she can attain that by becoming like this almost like character, so that WWE fans that are also challenge
I never
fans
thought about that.
like Jake can be like, oh, she's got the personality for it.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm see-
She's giving the
She was
Roman,
a Hang
the
10.
Roman Reigns
Yeah.
hang 10 there, yeah.
it wasn't my intent. But I mean, like that.
Like
I think,
this.
I think she might be doing that on purpose.
I think she's, if that is her angle, very naive, because I don't like the WWE personally, but a lot goes into it. Like
Yeah.
there's a whole nother level of physicality there's an acting side to it, but then there's also if the fans turn on you, like you just got to roll with it and be able to like. I don't know. I don't think she could handle it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're the most qualified out of this group to speak on that.
I appreciate that, Zach.
I think you're the only one in this group that actively watches. So.
I don't care
anymore.
about wrestling.
WWE's kind of a trash bin right now.
But you don't like the. No, we're not going to get into that.
Logan's not here. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Does
while
that
he's
mean
here.
we're not going to watch the 2 big events in the spring at your house like we do every year?
We're already past the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we've already watched them.
Well, I'll still
But
watch those.
are we gonna do that this spring? Because we do that every year at your house.
She's wanting to plan for 9 months from now.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but that's the thing. Like the first time I ever came to your house, Zach and I had recently started dating, like a few weeks before,
Oh, that's sweet.
and
I don't
I
remember.
came
How cute you
I came
guys
to your
are.
house to watch this dumb event,
All right.
and I was one of the only people there that did not give a crap.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there for
'Cause-
the New Deal.
Because I was with Kayla and Jasmine because I didn't know anybody else there, and they're both like super into it.
That is true. Well,
And my ex-wife. Don't forget about her.
Oh.
Shout out to her.
Well, I didn't know
Yeah.
if you wanted
You
me
wanna
to
go see
bring
her
that up.
Hey, yeah, sure. Let's freak her out.
what's yours? Let's go with yours.
My list is really biased.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. So first one, Sarah Rice. I just really enjoyed her. I loved watching her.
I get it.
Second, same exact reason as Dustin is Nani, 'cause she was on the same season as Real
That's a
World.
good Real World
Yeah.
season.
I
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
that season so much. And
Other than
also-
Adam Royer.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mike is probably the nicest
Oh,
person that's.
God.
He's one of the greatest
so
men I've
pure.
ever seen on the
Yeah.
challenge. Maybe even on my TV.
But last one.
Marie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew
I
it was
love
coming.
Marie.
Yeah.
I love Marie.
Oh, she's just so messy and such a relatable messy for me.
And
Yeah.
it's so entertaining.
Yes, and she can laugh at herself, and I love.
Oh,
that.
She
yeah.
can. That's
yeah,
why that's why
yeah.
we became friends with her.
Yeah.
Because we all make fun of each other so much, and like if you can laugh at yourself,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna get along
I
I
great.
think when
Exactly.
we interviewed her, I was like, if this season turns me into a Marie fan and not a Car fan, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Which
And
was
that's
Final
exactly
Reckoning.
what happened.
we
Yeah.
don't. What happened?
Yes. Yes.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
We're here. We love Marie. So.
Mine, I put Laurel, of course. Can't not put her.
Mikey didn't.
Sarah Rice.
Yeah.
Sarah Rice will never not be on my list because she is such an incredible woman. She is incredibly smart. She's really good at all the puzzles and stuff. She's very strategic, so she's always going to be a really big help. But also, she's strong. She's just an all-around incredible competitor, and she's so pretty, and she's so funny, and she's so perfect. I could rave about her forever. If I'm just going on somebody that I really, really like, I would put Jenna. But for this one, I also put in this list. This was before I knew that you were putting people that we like too, because I don't really care that much about her. She's just kind of like whatever. But I put Ninja Natalie just because she made it to the final in this last season, and it's one of the hardest seasons it is the hardest season I've ever seen.
She was the only
female that made it to the final.
to finish.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think she deserves credit for that for sure.
Yeah.
I can't say I was like a huge fan of hers, but
No,
like,
I was
get
not.
it.
I was not a
Yeah.
fan of hers, but I did enjoy, even though I'm super not cool with her screaming at Turbo the way she did.
Yeah.
Competitively,
In the end, he got the last laugh.
he did, and the millions of dollars. I just as strictly as a competitor and the way she performed last season, being the only female out of the whole season to finish that final, it said a lot to me.
I thought about her too.
Yeah,
I gotta see it for another season. Though.
that's my thing.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't put Turbo, even though I love Turbo.
yeah. I gotta see it for
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
season.
So the next one we did the worst male. We're only doing one of these. Worst male, and I have an answer, and then I have a backup. And if none of you say it, I'm gonna get back
I
on
have-
and say my
I have
other
a
one.
backup answer for mine
Okay.
too.
Okay.
So I think the main one I have written down, which is who I had to start off back at episode 0, it's Brandon from Are You the One? He was partners with Bree. Is it LaQuesta? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Lakista.
I don't know. It's the one that Jake and I and Logan thought you are insane for.
We think she's super attractive.
I don't see it. To
I
this
see
day,
it.
I don't see it.
But anyway, he was her partner. He quit, made her
Yeah.
go home.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
And TJ hates him. Doesn't even remember his name. He's just like that guy that quit that one
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So he's my answer, but I have a backup if nobody else says.
I had 3 names listed here.
I could have had 3 or 4 on this one.
I always want to say Dunbar for this.
You better not.
All the time. I always want to say Dunbar, but if I'm thinking purely off of what he should be and what he actually is,
This is my backup answer.
Derek
Yeah.
H.
That was my backup
that was
answer.
my backup.
I mean,
I completely
no
forgot.
no guy looks more made for the challenge, and is totally just
and
the worst at
has
it.
like a legit athletic background.
Yeah.
He was so bad.
I mean, the lasting image I have of him is him on the baby swing, holding his arms out, looking at
looking
nothing.
around.
He's looking at nothing.
And Tori was so mad.
Yeah,
I would be
rightfully
too. No
so.
wonder she broke up with him.
So
Yo.
for me, I just think
That was I didn't put him as my number 1 because I figured you or Hannah would say it, but that's got to be consideration because he was like a Division I basketball player, and he was so bad at the challenge. Honorable mention to Theo, the guy that just quit on that one elimination where he had to jump off the thing against
Invasions?
Corey. Yeah,
Invasion
because he was like a college wide receiver.
yeah.
Who cares?
I don't even remember that guy.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah, he was, again, he's like 6'3", super athletic, and then he just refused to even do an elimination because he had to kind of like jump off a cliff with a harness on. And TJ's like, are you kidding me?
I think I remember that.
He's like, just go home.
I think Jenna won that.
Jenna and Corey won those. Yeah.
Okay, I do remember that.
So, what's yours?
I think Derek H is a really good answer, but I put Jose.
I hate
Yeah,
Jake hated Jose.
Yeah, you
After-
you hated him so much that he blocked us on Twitter.
He just blocked me this week on Twitter.
What'd you do?
What did you do?
Well, he was coming after one of my friends because he was going after someone on X on the beach, and I was just like, you've been on, because he was like, well, I've been on 5 seasons. Where have you been? And I'm like, okay, but you only have like 22,000 followers, and then he blocked me.
That's funny.
You know, when you come after their followers,
I didn't know if
Yeah.
I didn't know if he
That's-
blocked you because he just intuitively knew that you were going to dish him
That would be
tonight.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
legitimately, like, so Jake has said he didn't really like him on Champs vs. Stars 3 or whatever.
We didn't watch that.
Hannah and I have not watched
he was
it.
so bad on it.
But we don't know what we did. Like
it was.
Yeah.
We released that episode that was called "No Way Jose."
we did,
and then that was
but
it.
We had
Uh-huh.
just interviewed Shane,
And I think it was a combination.
Shane
but, yeah.
had some not great things to say,
Right.
even though we didn't. And I think
That's all it
he
took.
just took it as like, oh,
Yeah.
screw these guys. And I mean, it's his prerogative; he can do whatever he
Yeah,
wants.
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that is the only person from Challenge, like Twitter, that has blocked us.
Yeah.
It's
I
also
think
when
that's the
his,
only person that has blocked us. Period.
Oh no, we probably had some others.
Really?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't tell you when they
I've
do
not
it.
been blocked by anybody because I'm just universally liked.
It's also when his single dropped.
Yeah.
was it Tony Danza,
No,
French Montana.
French Montana,
it's Tony Montana.
Tony Montana, one
French
of those
Montana's the rapper.
French Tony Danza Montana.
Tony Danza was a sitcom star in the 80s.
I'm aware. I know that guy.
French Montana, I think, is another rapper.
It's a rapper.
Also a band we used to listen to back in the day, the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. Yeah.
You've mentioned this
Yeah.
before. I remember laughing in my car, just like,
Such
what
a dumb
the
name.
heck?
Yeah, they're wild.
Did you listen to them?
No.
They're from
no.
Murfreesboro.
You should.
Pull them up, Zach.
Okay, I'll pull them up.
I want to get Mikey's
They
take
are-
on these guys.
You're not gonna
Oh,
like them.
God.
We don't know. We don't know.
So yeah, that you know what? That's a fine answer with us. Again, at this point, we don't know what we did to him. So
I don't think we did anything because even in the episode that we named No Way Jose, we didn't say anything. Like, we weren't talking
It
negatively
was definitely
about him.
100% the Shane thing.
I think it was a Shane interview.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It had to be.
because Shane did not hold back on some of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, he doesn't hold back on a lot of things.
True.
And that's fine. When we interviewed him, I told him, I was like, I need you to teach me how to be more like you.
Every so often, I'll message Shane on like Instagram or something, just check like, "Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah,
Hope everything's
same.
going good." Because he is legitimately like a nice guy to us, and
I love him. He's
so
so
nice.
awesome.
so
He still follows me on Twitter.
Hey, same, man.
He disabled his Twitter for a while, and then he just...
you remember this song?
Yeah, I do.
This is a groovy part, and then it gets weird.
Yeah.
It's
What's
just a hot mess.
what's your take, Mikey? Would you listen to this on a?
Are you
I
gonna listen to
would-
this on your way home?
I would 5 shots in.
Okay. Okay.
Man, like that would be the worst thing to listen to if you were coming out of like a hangover or something.
Oh God, yeah.
Because it's
It would-
chaos.
that would
Yeah.
hurt so bad.
To be completely transparent, like I liked their name more than I liked them as a band.
Yeah.
They were not my favorite.
Okay.
But, you know, it's what is. What's your
Worst smell, since everybody's already said Derrick Henry. I don't want to just
By the way,
I
not
wanna-
Derrick Henry from the Titans.
No, man.
no Derrick H.
Yeah.
Henry.
Tori-
His last name is
Tori's-
also Henry.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the same name. I want to throw out some more names. Tender Chase. He was was he on the wrong show?
He was just on the wrong show. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He thought it was a dating show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
He fell for Nani day one.
He
They
was pretty though, wasn't he? I don't really remember.
Yeah,
I think he's a good-looking guy.
he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
yeah.
he was just your average white guy pretty.
Yeah.
But you
yeah.
know- Where
He was like he was almost plain like just a plain biscuit. But with
Okay.
but with like no butter or jam or anything.
no chocolate gravy or nothing.
No chocolate gravy.
Okay.
Definitely
Oh,
not. He was he's just plain.
Dry.
I wonder if
Wait.
anyone outside of the South is going to know what like chocolate gravy on biscuits is.
Oh my gosh, that used to be like a weekly breakfast for me.
So here,
And then I got chubby.
here's the thing about Tender Chase is that he swiped right on Nani,
Metaphorically.
and Nani also swiped right on him.
For about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But then she unmatched
But then
with
she
him.
unmatched him. All right, because
And then he super liked
he
her.
dropped in those DMs. They started chatting it up a little bit, and then he went a little too far, tried to make it a little too serious, too fast, and then she was gone. She was out.
And then he got upset about it.
I understand. I do.
Aw.
A single guy over here who has done the dating app thing, which is just
To be fair, we saw you use it, you didn't understand the interface
We
very
went
well.
we went bowling, and I'm standing next to you as you're doing this, and I'm like, "Hey, I think you're swiping the wrong direction."
You're like, I don't like this person. Like, well, you just super liked them.
Yeah. And I told you, I was like, "Hey, just use your finger, don't swipe, just like tap on the things." And you're like, "No, I'm going to swipe." And it was there was a girl that you really thought was super cute. You thought you'd get along with her. And you're like, "I'm going to swipe right." And you swiped left.
thank God I was able to take it back though, right?
Oh,
we
that's
never
awesome.
heard from her though. So
I don't remember. You know what? That's fine. I think if we had to pick as a group, Derrick H is the number one.
100%.
along
I
with
just didn't
that.
want to say the same name as everybody
I get
else.
it, but I
want to make sure we
Mikey
get some more
forgot
people in
about him.
there.
That's how bad he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he should have theoretically he should have dominated some of those.
Yeah.
Should have.
So
Didn't.
worst female. I had
Go.
trouble with this. I didn't want to put Casey. One, I knew Hannah would. Two, I think at least she gives decent camera interviews and stuff like that.
She's fun, and she's
Yeah.
there to party. She gets on my ever-loving last nerve, but she is a fun member of the house.
Also, to be fair, I completely forgot Shailene existed. So that is why she's not
she's
my
not. She doesn't qualify for
Who's
this
your
anyway.
person?
Siobhan.
Yeah.
Because Siobhan's
I'm okay
legacy
with that.
is she busted her implant,
And
then
then-
she's the one that made CT want to destroy everyone because he hooked up with her, and then
Adam
Yeah,
told DM.
that's where our name comes
And then
from.
CT tried to rip Adam to pieces.
well, to be fair, Adam started it. That's
Yeah.
what Tori and them said. She was there. Siobhan, because no matter what happens, she's not very smart, for being honest. So she's not going to be good at puzzles or anything. She's not athletic at all.
Not even in the least bit.
I don't know what she was going to do on this show.
She didn't have much drive.
So, no, she just wanted to be there and kind of party, and so she's my pick. I'm not going to go any further without being mean.
Anastasia.
Yep, I'm okay
I
with
thought
that.
about it.
If for no other reason than just the cigarettes and coming between DM and CT.
Yeah.
Boy. Do we all have
Well,
answers
Siobhan
that,
came
that are
between DM
people
and
that come
CT.
between DM and CT?
Yeah, Cook did, but I loved Cook.
Is that the list
That's-
we're making here? Just girls who have come between.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, I mean like that's what you remember her for. It's just this weird little fling with CT.
I
That's
completely
it.
forgot about her until
Yeah.
we went back and watched that season.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And she was gone first elimination. I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
So that was that.
Never
So-
came back.
So, but yeah, all right. If you're stacking them two, Anastasia and Shailene, all right. Who are you taking? Who are you throwing the birthday bash for,
So,
huh?
at least Anastasia like hooked up with CT
She did something
and
for
gotten
TV.
and got in a fight with him, Shailene would have just like wandered off. She
Yeah.
would have not been on camera.
She knows who she is.
Hid in a closet or something.
You know what? I would argue she doesn't know who she is
Alright,
because she keeps
okay.
going out for these shows.
All right.
All right, Mikey, what's yours?
I'm gonna get some hate for this.
Bring it on.
I like these
Bring
kinds of
it
answers. This is
on.
good.
It's Brittany, the Thornton, the
Oh.
I just
From Georgia,
she yes.
Which
she
one is
makes
she?
me
the one you don't like.
Brad's girl, ex-girl.
Brad's ex-girl.
I can't stand
Yes.
Brittany.
Girl.
She grosses me out.
So much cringe. I just
It is.
yeah.
Oh,
Wavelengths. Yeah.
yeah.
I can't even get words out. I cannot even get words out.
Yeah.
Surf's up, dude. Right hand.
I get it. She is. The thing I didn't like about her was she did like one season and then she came and she's like, I'm a vet. I know what I'm doing. And I was like, you really haven't done anything.
No, listen to Cam. Cam said you can't consider yourself a vet
She's quoting the Cam episode that she wasn't
She
even
hasn't
on.
listened-
She
she
hasn't
hasn't
listened to.
listened
until you have done at least 3 or 4 seasons. You got to do your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, and then you get to call yourself a
She
vet.
just heard us bring that up
I
on
don't
a
know.
recap.
She
didn't
still has
listen
not
to
listened to that episode.
No,
You don't know what I've done.
she hadn't listened to it.
No.
But that was my issue. Even with War of the Worlds, it was like Polly was considered a vet, and I'm like, nope, not even. Not even.
I do, even though Polly is a million miles ahead of Brittany ever in like
yeah,
competition.
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was only his second season. He's not a vet.
I agree.
You're not a vet.
So, all right. So I get it. You might get hate on that, but I get it.
Yeah.
She rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
I think everybody knows that I don't like her. I mean, like, when she's on the season, it's so hard for me to watch it
Agreed.
because it is very cringy and she is very full of herself, and I don't like people that are like that.
Marie threw a pizza on her one time.
It was awesome.
I thought that was hilarious.
What's your pick?
Shailene.
Was it?
No.
Oh.
Jake closes
I
last
like I
He's gonna
even
leave.
when you brought up Casey, I even like came to her defense a little bit. She was at least
I was
like
surprised,
kind of
yeah.
funny.
Because you've made it very clear you don't like
I
Casey.
don't. It is so hard to watch Casey, but at least she's kind of funny. As annoying as she is, she's kind of funny.
So the
Shailene, we don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We don't
Sadly.
know. And you know, Jake, just to kind of prove a point, we interviewed someone who stayed in her room and said we didn't even hang out with her in D. And then also Wes, when we interviewed him, he's like, "That might be the worst casting MTV's ever done."
Yikes.
I just
We
think,
have actual cast members that are on our side with this.
and I'm not going to discredit their takes, but everybody deserves a birthday bash, man. All right.
Do you think she actually got one and they actively cut it out, or do you think
But see, that-
it's
they
even worse?
forgot
That's
it.
her
they
moment.
just didn't.
That's her one moment. What if she got hammered that night and no one knows?
What if she like told people and then it would be even worse if they just did not
Didn't
care
do
and didn't
anything
do
for
anything.
it.
She's like, "Hey, my birthday's tomorrow."
Then I would feel
Because
bad.
too.
like what if she watched this show like a few years ago where they like actually did like the house parties and stuff, and she's like, "Hey, my birthday's tomorrow," and everybody's like, "Okay."
Like, we're gonna talk about Cam and Theo
It's not
instead.
okay. Not okay. I'm here. You know, I know I've got a shout out to Gigi.
Juju.
Yes.
Juji.
Gigi.
She's with me on this. We've got to partner up together at some point and throw her the birthday bash she deserves.
What if she doesn't show up?
You know what? She might show up and you wouldn't know she was there.
It's a bad joke.
Oh gosh.
So underrated male. I was gonna have Landon in this. I think I had him the first time, but I feel like in the last year or two, people have come around on Landon and kind of put him in the place of where he should be.
Didn't he do an interview with Challenge Mania
He did it. Yeah,
recently?
he did Challenge Mania
like
interview.
within the last year.
Yeah.
I think that's done something.
And so I'm gonna put Tyler Duckworth.
Oh, that's a
That
good
is one of your guys.
one.
He was a great competitor. He did not mind going after Johnny. He won a season with Johnny. And I think like his record is pretty good for the seasons he was on. And you know what? He's just solid. Like I wish he's one of the guys that would come back.
If we could have a fourth person on our like overall of all time top males, Tyler would be number 4.
I like Tyler a lot.
He would
I-
absolutely be
Yeah.
in my top males of all time.
For me, I actually had your guy Zito as a consideration here. I did because
Oh.
watching some of these older
He's a good one
seasons,
for this.
he's good, man. Like he's actually
he competed really well.
really underrated, like really good at a lot of this stuff. But for me, again, going back and watching older seasons, like, dude, Theo Vaughn's a killer on these things, man.
See, I haven't gone back and watched those.
He is really good.
Yeah.
Like
I-
really good.
I remember watching him back then, and I always liked him as like a personality, but I couldn't remember much of what he did on the challenge, and so I do need to go back and watch some of those.
I mean, I just remember because most of what he did was the team-oriented stuff, right? Like it was team-oriented challenges where you had the real world versus road rules, and like I remember like if it was a timed event, I think it was one of the dual seasons, like he had like the top time almost every time out of the guys on his team. Like he just,
I want to say he was on the season after the Inferno, because we just went and watched that one for the Kindle interview, and I think he was on the next one, and I meant to go back and watch it. We just haven't. But yeah, I liked him back then. I wish he would have done more. It's kind of like The Miz. Like they didn't do a lot.
Yeah.
But they've both obviously gone on to really successful careers outside of the challenge. So what's yours, Mikey?
This one comes from a more like strategic and drama standpoint because
Okay.
Ooh.
I am gonna say Shane.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like he kind of ran the game in what was the all lavender ladies season?
was that Vendettas? Or was that Final Reckoning?
might
Final
be Final
Reckoning.
Reckoning.
Yeah. He was always like coming up with really good plans. And I mean, come on, the yelling at Johnny with the helmet on, iconic.
He
that
called
was
for his
so
helmet.
funny.
Yeah, it was great.
And when I was like, hey, what headshot do you want me to use? I was like, if you don't tell me, I'm going to use the helmet. And he's like, please use the helmet.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
And of course, that's
Yeah.
gonna make us like him even more.
Right, and I
It's so funny.
He gets a lot of hate, and
Some is, to be fair, some is deserved. He's
Yeah.
very, very
he's
opinionated.
really opinionated. He'll just kind of let
but
you know.
he is very sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think to an extent he plays up a little bit of the villainous side when he's on the show. But like in person, he's awesome.
yeah.
I don't think he's going to ever be back.
I don't either.
I feel like
I think he's
he's
done.
He's
burned
done.
bridges
Yeah.
purposefully.
Yeah,
And I think he's done.
yeah.
Definitely.
I'm glad we got to interview him before he was done.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's just at a place now where he's kind of past it.
He's good with where he's at.
Yeah.
And he said he would eventually get there.
Yeah, and he
So I
came
think
out.
he's there
and
now.
He said some things about production and stuff this last season, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's why I think he's not coming back.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, again, Shane was awesome when we talked with him. He's a super nice guy. We had a lot of people that were like, well, I'm not going to listen to that interview.
Yeah.
And they were like, just give it a chance.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, like he's not that bad. Like
Yeah.
it's just, and I going back to your point, Mikey, like he was the only one in that, like in Final Reckoning where he was like throwing stuff and he's like, I'm not on your team.
Yeah.
He's like, we're not teammates.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, he gets the broad sense of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
And
he
so
was
he's always
smart.
he's always into something.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But that's okay.
Uh-huh.
He made the show more fun to watch. It was very entertaining.
Yeah. Agreed.
So what's yours?
I think my answer is the same as last year. Brandon Nelson,
I had him as
of
my
course.
backup.
He's my boy. But if I can't put Brandon, if I need,
You
I
can
mean,
put
like
Brandon.
like if I weren't going to, if I wanted a different name, I would put Preston because.
I don't think you said Preston for sure last
No,
time.
I know I didn't say Preston last time, but I would say Preston this time. Not to take away from Brandon, I still think he's very much underrated. But Preston, a lot of people underestimated him just because, they didn't see him as a threat. But every daily, every elimination, whatever he did, he gave it his whole heart
did.
and then some. And he surprised a lot of people with his ability.
He's not the most athletic guy, but he's very long. And I would take like one guy like Preston who's going to try all the
Yeah.
time than like 100 Derrick Henrys.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because
Oh, yeah.
like
I'd way rather have Preston
at
than
least he's
Derek.
trying and he's going to do something.
He can't even swing properly.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So I'm fine with those, but I would pick
also,
Brandon out
I
of those
love Preston.
two.
I love Brandon too.
Underrated female. Jake kind of hit at mine earlier. Is Jody.
Yeah.
Like that's who I put last time, and I'm not going to change it because she was good when she was on.
Yeah.
And
I'm okay with
I
that.
feel like a lot of people don't remember her, but she did just do like Challenge Mania like a week or two ago, and I don't know how they got in contact with her. 'Cause she's one of those that's like MIA
Yeah.
on social media. But good for them because I want to go back and listen to that one because that's an interesting one. I really like the kind of fringe people that like come back and just say their piece and you kind of get some insight on some stuff. So Jody's mine.
For me, I think this girl gets a lot of hate because of her personality, and then one of the finals she won being considered one of the worst finals, and that's
I know where you're going.
Ashley Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man, when you've
I
won,
might as well just walk out.
when you've won 2 of these things out of what she's been on 4 seasons now.
Yeah, not counting like the champs stuff.
Yeah. So two
Paul's
out,
gonna
two
probably
out of your
correct us.
first 4, and 2 out of her first 3. If you're not counting this last season we just watched, War of the Worlds. I mean, like you can't deny that. No matter how the final was set up, it's not her problem.
To be fair, Invasions was a bad final.
It was super bad, but that's not on her.
No.
She ran the same final everyone else did.
CT won it.
CT won it.
Yeah.
And I think, man, like you've gotta recognize that. And I don't think she gets the proper recognition she deserves.
And I will say Final Reckoning, in retrospect, not a good final either, but she did win it.
Yeah.
So
True.
I think she could be argued either side, most underrated or most overrated, because you could say she won 2 finals, but she won 2 of the worst finals.
Yeah.
So what's yours, Mikey?
Sylvia. She has a really good elimination record. I think everyone sleeps on her. She's like 5-1.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, she and like she had that one battle with like Melissa.
Yeah.
And that was a good elimination.
While she was sick, by the way, she won
I
it.
didn't know that.
And then like the next episode, she went home because she was sick.
Oh, I don't
She
remember that.
She didn't even
Yeah.
get eliminated. But yeah, she has a good elimination record. She came in their team. Her and Joss came in like 2nd place in Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
Should have won.
Oh, she was
Should have
so
won.
mad. She was
'Cause
so
they
mad.
got-
Have
the-
won. Should
they got
have
the
won.
equalizer thrown at them, right? Like at the very end.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think that she's a good pick.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this on the show. Did we talk about it with Logan? I think
I
it
don't
was.
know.
We've talked about it a couple of times. The little interaction with her. Yeah.
mom.
With her
Yeah.
mom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
like
funny.
I and it was me. I said it. I was like, I feel like she doesn't bring a lot story-wise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see that.
And I was like, it's nothing against her.
No, yeah.
And then her mom messaged us, and she's like, I really liked your show up until you said that.
Her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hilarious, and I was like, my mom would do that.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I get it. It's your daughter. And I was like, we talked back and forth, and everything was fine. Like, she wasn't mean about it. She's like, I'm just disappointed that you said that.
Oh.
And I was like, it's, I'm the one typing. I said it. I was like, that's just how I feel, and I don't want to like be dishonest about how I feel right now. And she's like, yeah. It's like, there is editing. I was like, yeah, I understand that, and
Yeah, we understand, almost more than anything, the editing
I just thought it was
has
funny.
a lot to do
That's the
with
first
it.
time
Yeah,
that's happened.
that's
but-
hilarious.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of Sylvia. I kind of like her, but again, like I feel like she doesn't ever really get a storyline at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be that she has a little bit of one, and MTV just wants to focus on like a bigger, juicier one, so they cut it all out.
Is it weird?
And that's not her
Is
fault.
it weird that she didn't get reprimanded at all for headbutting Marie?
I think that Marie was doing it for the camera.
I think they were
bit.
going after each
Uh-huh.
other, and like at the end of the day, like they weren't really gonna fight,
Right.
and so maybe they were gonna let him slide. But
yeah, it's a lot of the fighting nowadays kind of is sort of circumstantial on what happens, and I don't know. It's really confusing because the things that people get off for now, I don't know what's happening.
you just turn your flashlight on.
The things that people get out for now just don't. It's not consistent, and
We've talked about that. It's not consistent. Like
it's really confusing.
back in the day, like a couple times, like people used to just fight, and then like producers would come in like 30 minutes later and be like, all right, you guys, you got to go home.
Yeah.
Now, like Kayla and Melissa push each other,
Right.
and they are right there, and you're gone.
And
And so I don't know. What's your pick?
Devin,
Oh, from like
way
Free
back
Agents,
when,
Real
yeah.
World Brooklyn. What's her last name?
Simone.
Is it
Simone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love her.
She's so incredible.
Great interview.
She's so fun.
yeah.
Yes.
And she's got a good sense of humor. I'm gonna every time I talk about Devin, I'm gonna bring it up. The wig funeral.
The wig funeral.
did
Iconic.
everything for
It's
me.
in Free Agents.
so
which is
that
the season we're
that
working
right
on.
there is what won me
So
over.
good.
So-
I saw that and I was like, oh.
Doesn't she do
yes.
something like matchmaking or dating wise now?
She's a TV host.
Yeah, but I thought it was some dating related.
I thought she was like the host of a dating show.
I'm gonna look that up.
She hosted a challenge event in Orlando recently.
Yeah, the
thing with
at
like
the
Alton and
premiere-
Tori
Yeah,
and all that.
the final for this last season.
Yeah.
Matchmaker and dating coach #3-day rule. And her banner's dating on Devin, www.devinsimone.com. So I think that's like what she does. Co-host of Love at First Swipe on TLC.
That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
She is the host.
I didn't know that.
Interesting
host
little
of a
job.
dating
I did
show.
not know that.
I didn't either.
But she's perfect for that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she's
She's
good at that.
like she has found her thing.
Yeah.
I think
and
that's
I'm
why they
so
called her
happy
in
for
for the
her.
Orlando thing.
Yeah, she's doing a lot
You may
of
need
good
to
things.
check out Love at First Swipe.
I'm
Listen,
in
I-
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say enough about her. I love her. I love her.
You and
great.
Hannah
And she's-
especially love those TLC shows.
She's I rock
shout
a
out!
love.
Shout out to my.
No, that's not a TLC. That's a
Is it
VH1
not?
show. TLC is like my 600-pound
That's
life.
my show
for-
right
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
Is 90 Day Fiance TLC?
Yeah, I think so.
I just started
Oh,
that.
is that the one where they're in one of them's in jail?
No,
that's Love After Lockup.
Okay.
Yeah.
90 Day Fiance is like for like,
Yeah, someone's
like mail order brides.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, but I like Devin because she was not a bad competitor.
She wasn't a great competitor, but she was fun.
She wasn't the best. She was
Yeah.
about middle of the road, but I mean that's better than what people expected of her.
Yeah.
Everybody thought she'd be the worst,
Still
and
had
she
one
was
of the
not
weirdest
bad.
hookups on the show with Big
With
Easy.
Big
Oh
Easy. It
my
was
gosh.
so weird, but I liked
It's so
it.
unexpected.
I liked it.
I
like Big Easy.
Yeah,
He was funny too.
I don't know if a guy like Big Easy would be cast anymore. And I
Probably not because they look for these guys that are built like Joss and Rogan now.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like they're legitimately like, oh, we're
Yeah.
looking for athletes,
Not just fun, entertaining.
and we
people
haven't really talked about that. I kind of hope they don't swing too far in that direction.
Yeah.
where it's only like
I mean,
Olympic
Theo is an
athletes.
Olympic like
Yeah.
competitor,
Yeah.
and like some of these people, Turbo is obviously an insane athlete. Like, I do kind of like how some people can surprise you, and like Theo Vaughn, like you said, like I don't know if we're gonna trend way too far in the other direction. I hope they find a balance.
Yeah.
I would rather it be like War of the Worlds though than what it was a handful of seasons.
oh, absolutely.
So overrated male. I had trouble with this one.
I didn't.
I had trouble. And then I thought about it, and then I just had to go with my heart. And I had to go Polly.
I had a
knew it was
feeling.
coming.
I had a feeling.
The only reason I do think he's a very good competitor. The only reason I'm putting him as overrated right now is because he has not won anything in the grand scheme.
while.
Well, just in the grand scheme of the show.
So you just pulled his name out of a whole pool of guys who haven't won anything
No,
yet.
no. I pulled his name because he is the self-proclaimed new face of the show, and he hasn't won anything yet. So that's overrated to me.
This
Yeah,
guy,
I
if
get
his
that.
if his body doesn't shut down,
What ifs you can say that about anybody? Like there's so many what ifs in
What
the
if
show.
it was Turbo's body that shut down? Would
Or-
you?
or
Would you
when-
like?
when-
I would say the same thing.
when Kenny when Zach was up on the mountain and like his body gave
Oh,
out, or
yeah.
when
and
like
he started like
Yeah.
crying
Yeah.
Wes like cramped up and Kenny carried him, like it
Yeah.
happens.
up the mountain.
Uh-huh.
I'm with you.
Those
I'm
guys,
with you.
those guys have won though.
I'm with you. But this guy was on his way to 2 finals in his first 2 seasons.
He was, but you also
overrated.
Yeah.
I think you're reaching, Zach.
It's not reach at all. It's not
you're reaching.
I think it is the most clinical like definition of overrated because he says he is the new face of the show. He has the new rivalries. He is the guy, and he has not won anything yet.
I think once.
I think he has the potential to be a champion. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
One of the greats.
I don't know about
Potential
that.
to be
but
one of the
I
greats.
think
He'd have to do a whole lot more seasons and get to a whole lot more
I
finals.
think he could
before we
legitimately
say
win.
that.
I agree.
legitimately win a handful of finals. I think
I
he
think
Yeah,
could.
so.
I absolutely
Yeah,
think
I
he
really
could
do.
get like
But
maybe 2 or 3 under his
as
belt.
of right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
He's
that
not
is
there
my
yet.
Not
pick.
overrated.
Not there
You
yet.
are wrong, Zach. This is the first time I'm going to look at you and say that you are wrong.
So what's your pick?
My pick, your
Wrong.
guy, screw you, your guy Kenny, all right? You want to talk overrated, you take this guy, take 20% of his personality away, no one remembers the guy. He didn't do anything.
It's because he was Alpha B.
But, I mean, that's just the thing, right, is this guy had to be carried along by Evan.
That's right.
Otherwise,
That's right.
He carried West that one final.
I get it, but even you have described Wes as one of the greats, one of the best of all time. His body shut down on him in that final. But even so, like, I mean, again, watching through these older seasons, like, he talks a lot, man. Like, and that's what people remember him for.
Well, and you said you dubbed
Hey.
him as the best talker on the show.
He liked to stir the pot a lot.
I'm not overrating his
I think that's where
talking
Bananas
ability.
got it.
I'm not overrating his
He has
talking
a wrestling
ability.
background, so that may be where that comes from.
But overrated, put Kenny's picture beside it in Webster's, all right? That's it. That's overrated.
Listen, I like Kenny, but as long as you don't say Evan's name under overrated, I'm good.
No, Evan came in strong.
Yeah.
First
Listen,
season.
he was the man.
Yeah.
Everybody rode his coattails.
Mikey, what's yours?
So my whole list deleted, but I remember what it was. It was Zach. I don't know. He started
Zach
off.
Nichols?
Oh, I thought he was
Yeah.
talking about you, Zach. I was going to agree with you on Zach over here.
No,
Jake's upset.
But I think didn't he?
Of course, because I went after his man crush.
Didn't he win his first season, the Battle of Season? Zach Nichols won, but he hasn't
With
won anything.
Frank.
With Frank
Yeah.
and Ashley Kay and
Right.
Sam.
And I'm kind of salty about him now because going into War of the Worlds saying that he needed to come back for a wedding and he was just going to quit, but then he didn't, and it just seemed wishy-washy. And
I can say, similar to what we said about Derrick Henry, at least Zach is one, but like from a physical standpoint, like he should be dominating.
I know.
These.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I think mentally he's checked out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if he could ever just focus and actually have the desire to be there and to win again, I think he would. And in a heartbeat. I think he would win.
He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, going back to what you said, when he like admitted on the the reunion, he's like, I just didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why'd you take someone's roster spot?
Yeah. And I like Zach, but that even got to me because I'm like, that's dumb.
Yeah, because someone else like who wanted to compete and wanted to be there and try their hardest, like I get that one. Like I do like Zach. I think him and Frank both were terrible people on Battle of the Seasons.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
they're both totally different people now.
Yeah,
I think they've both grown in different ways. But I can 100% see how you'd be overrated. Hannah.
Bananas.
Oh, good. I'm glad someone said it.
Can I tell you what Bananas is? Bananas is in the very exact phase that LeBron is right now.
Okay.
All right. LeBron had his phase where he had this stretch. He's unstoppable, freak athlete. And I'm not saying Johnny's a freak athlete, but just like, as far as
he's a good athlete.
He's a good athlete. He's not a freak athlete.
Freak challenger for a little while.
But you think about LeBron in his Miami days, right? I mean, it's just you're not stopping this guy. And Johnny is in that phase now where, as like we saw with LeBron this last season, needs a little bit of help. And he's reached that phase.
The same age as each other.
Yeah.
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 I think Johnny's a little older, is he not?
I think like 2 years older.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think LeBron is almost on his downhill decline. I think Johnny hit his downhill decline maybe 3 seasons ago.
I think it is very similar parallel because even if they're on the end of their careers, people still recognize the name. They recognize what they've done. They're still going to go after him.
He's made his legacy.
Yeah. And I think if Johnny goes home first round, first whatever, from here on out, he still won like 6 finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he did. And he's not my favorite person, but he carried the show when it didn't have a direction or a face at the time. And
all true.
Again, I know you guys love Sarah Rice. It was good TV.
It was.
It was great TV when he took that money.
It was good TV.
It's kind of it's becoming overused now. But at the time, that had never happened before.
Yeah.
And
I'm still upset about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like my thing is, I say Johnny is overrated now.
I think
3 years ago, no.
I think he could still win.
I think he has maybe one more win in him.
I do too.
But it's also the fact that he's getting older. He's slowing down a little bit. And these last handful of seasons, we've seen him just kind of sit on his little throne where he's like, I'm the champ. I'm the guy that's leading this show. So you're not going to call me out. And so a lot of people were too afraid to do it. And that's how he kind of coasted to the finals, or at least towards the end of the season.
I think you've got a lot of new people in the last 4 or 5 years that grew up watching him.
And they don't want to go against him.
I think it's the opposite. I think they're like, if I want to make a name for myself, go after him.
That's what JP tried to do with CT.
And Young Bucks, all those guys, and then the new Brits, like, they know Johnny, and they're like, get him out. And he was, second to go home this season?
But that was Wes's doing.
Yeah, Wes did kind of help with that. But again,
still, I mean, it happened.
I think people understand how good he was, but I don't think people are scared of him like they used to be. So I can see it.
That's why I put overrated for him.
I don't think he's nearly the competitor he was. All right, so overrated female. I had trouble with this one, for real.
I didn't.
I got mine.
I knew you said you had a few.
Had mine in a split second.
Oh, well, let me go first this time. I mean, last this time then.
Okay.
So Jake, you go first.
Does that mean I go first?
Well, let's Jake and then come around.
Okay.
So, again, going back and watching older seasons, there's one female competitor in particular that gets as much praise as anyone. But after going back and watching a couple of older seasons, she actually was a detriment to her team more times than not, and that's Coral.
Really?
Yes.
You're gonna rub some people the wrong way.
I
with
get
that
it.
one.
I get it. But she's another one who I think is more known for her personality and more recognized for it rather than what she actually did. I know she won.
She's a huge personality.
You have to think at the time of these challenges, these were all team-oriented challenges. It wasn't like, you're doing this on your own and you're doing that and all this other stuff.
Like competitive too.
Right. And so and I can't remember the exact seasons, but I mean it was to determine who the final team was, like the last daily they were doing. They were concerned about Coral performing because she hadn't been performing all season. And not only that, like she caused like a lot of like, she had this mindset like, I'm Coral, I have this name, like I shouldn't get voted in.
Yeah, she did do that. I think in a one-on-one like elimination, she's a hard out. But in like what you're saying, sorry, hit your mic.
No, it felt good.
If like you were running like a relay, like you'd be a little worried if Coral can keep up with some of them.
Well, in one of those finals, she actually she had an allergic reaction because a spider had bit her or something.
That next season, people were talking about they didn't believe that that's what it was. Because Hannah and I were just watching the following season, and they were like, "Oh, Coral got bit and had an allergic reaction," all in like sarcastic air quotes.
Yeah,
and they just thought she gave up.
Yeah, so I think Coral's great. She's fun to watch, but if we're talking purely from a competitive standpoint, I think she's extremely overrated.
So Challenge Mania just did their like Hall of Fame thing, and the votes, like the people that made it in, Mark Long, and then Landon, Coral, and Evelyn. And so
I don't think Coral deserves that spot.
Wow.
A lot of people really like her.
Yeah, she was voted in.
This is not. I don't have like a dislike towards Coral. I'm just. You're asking me to give who I think is the most overrated, and I think she is absolutely the most overrated.
Okay.
Correlating to how she's viewed,
and it was a different era of the show too.
Yes,
not
like
nearly...
I don't think Wes talked about this when we interviewed him. Just like these girls and even the guys to an extent that were like casted back in the day wouldn't last a second compared to most of these girls on now.
I think Mark Long and Landon would be fine. I think Evelyn would be fine.
Yeah.
I do agree. Like in like today's setting, I don't know if Coral could keep up.
I don't know.
All right, Mikey, what's yours? Did you delete it and forget?
I did, and that's why a second ago I was like, oh yeah, I remember. I don't really have a really good rhyme or reason to this one, and it's one that a lot of people really, really like, and I don't even know why I don't like this girl, but Natalie, the one from Big Brother on Polly's season.
Negrati.
Yes, Negrati.
Negrati? Is that it?
A lot of people don't like her.
I don't...
She's shady.
Well, a lot of Big Brother people like her a lot.
Yeah,
because they're Big Brother people. Yeah. But, I mean, a lot of Challenge fans don't like her because she is shady.
Very bad at eliminations. Great at dailies. Not
She's
good at
really good
at,
at dailies,
I'm okay with that answer.
I don't think you're going to cause nearly as big of a controversy as what he said.
I'm here for it.
I think Jake's answer was I don't know how to take that.
Hannah,
you go back and watch. You want to?
We just watched the Inferno.
Go back and watch.
Ashley Mitchell, Smashley.
Oh,
I figured that
because the 2 finals that she won, anybody could have won. I could have won. I could have done those.
But see, at the same time, like she won 2 finals, so that's why I didn't put her on mine.
And ran those. Who are the runners with her in those? All right, now I gotta find it.
Nicole Zanata.
You talking about her
peanut butter
competitors?
Peanut butter.
Her competitors.
I think Camilla was the other girl.
Who you could throw in one of the all-time great categories.
I'm not throwing her in.
I'm not going to, but
she
just strictly competitive wise, if you take out her inner beliefs that came out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but she's the reason why I didn't have her on like overrated or whatever, because she was a good competitor.
Exactly. Yeah. I almost did that too.
No.
Hang 10.
It's just, I mean, that first final she won, I remember watching it live, and Zach and I were like, we could have done that.
It was a joke of a final.
They went canoeing, which we do as a leisurely
and then like the last
then,
leg
like,
of it, they're just holding on.
Like boat skiing, and it was so it was so pathetic. And then not this past season, but the season before that, Final Reckoning, 1, Joss and Sylvia should have won that. 2, the only reason that Hunter and Ashley won was because Hunter carried her.
He also fell off a ladder.
And she
fell off a ladder and still carried her through that.
She
final.
also beat him though.
Yeah, she beat him 1-on-1. That's the reason why she got to keep the money.
Because he fell off the ladder. And that was not his fault. He's a big
I hated
guy.
that final because we did not see times as they went along.
I just can't. But if I were not to put Ashley Mitchell, I would probably put Johanna, because I never saw her actually perform. She did the dailies, and she was very middle of the road to not very good.
She won a couple seasons you
below
didn't see.
Average. Every season that I've seen her on,
the one she won, I don't think you've watched.
Probably not. But I mean, everything else I've seen. First, when she was still with Wes, she rode his coattails everywhere.
And then Real World Austin did. To be fair.
Then after she and Wes broke up, like that summer, she immediately got on the next season and hooked up with Kenny like the first night.
Shout out to the island.
And then rode Kenny's coattails all the way. And then the following season, when it was Wes and Kellyanne together, Kenny and Johanna were not together, but she was still riding his coattails while Kenny was riding Evan's coattails. And it was just she's
on a coattail kick.
She coasts to everything. She never actually performs. And I remember in one of those seasons, I think it was the one that Wes and Kellyanne were together, Johanna is sitting there and they're trying to figure out who's going to nominate themselves to go into elimination and who they want to go against. And one of the other girls looks at Johanna and she's like, no, none of these girls want to go up against you. They know they're not going to win. And I remember thinking, I don't know about that, because she just doesn't look or seem like a threat. Seems like she doesn't really care much about being there. She just wants the money, but she doesn't want to put in the work.
I don't have anything to add to that, because that I wasn't expecting that answer.
I mean, if I was going to say somebody old school, I would say Johanna.
Mm-hmm. Ran out of coattails there, did you?
So
I'm messing with you, hand.
I had two.
I don't care.
I had 2. You guys kind of hit on one already, so I'm not going to say it. Brittany was on the list for me. I might get a lot of hate for this one.
Who are you
I like
say?
these.
It's going to be Davon so far.
Wow.
I wasn't expecting that. That hit me.
Wow.
Because
Mikey just left the room. Mikey's gone.
Okay.
here's the reason. She came in with a lot of like praise coming over from Big Brother. Mm-hmm. She was supposed to be this big force or whatever. To me, looking back in the season, now she did have some moments where she competed really well. Mm-hmm. There was no way she was going to compete in that final. Mm-hmm. She has asthma. Mm-hmm. She couldn't run some of the daily stuff. Like, again, I think she had some good moments this season during the reunion. Some of them were kind of weird. I don't know. But I struggled with this.
Yeah, Mikey, the reunion was weird for me when it came to Davon.
Yeah.
It was a weird deal to watch.
Yeah.
I feel like she was one of the names that people are like, oh, Davon's coming
I feel
to
like
the
we have to
challenge.
look to you because I think you're like her advocate, right? Can we make you her advocate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do really like her. Yeah.
And
I
you know
like
what?
Davon.
It's fine. I maybe this was hard for me to come up with overrated. Let's see. I don't remember who I put the first time. Let me look at that.
While you're looking for that, I will say I like Davon as like a person. She's a lot of entertainment. She's very funny.
Yeah.
Her first season, I did not like her, but I think that was Jose's fault because I didn't like Jose.
Yeah, agreed.
But
on
this
that.
last season, she was so much fun to watch. She performed a lot better.
She couldn't run that final. There's no way.
There's no way she could have run the final.
I think she even said that.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, but I think
I'm not saying mine is a good answer. I just couldn't figure out
just
anyone else.
throughout this past season, I think she performed a lot better than we expected her to.
Yeah, she dug deep.
She gave really good interviews, but the finale or the reunion or whatever, when she pulled out the receipts on cam, that rubbed me the wrong way because they're supposed to be friends and you don't do that to your friend.
Yeah.
But she called out Kara and I was like, wow, okay, nobody else would do that.
Yeah.
So I remembered now.
Yeah, me too.
my overrated from the first time was Marie.
Yeah.
It's not anymore because Marie's great.
No, but I struggle with that one for real.
Uh-huh.
Like, I just couldn't think of anybody. And Jake was like, "Oh, I got 3," and I was like, "Good lord!" So what were
Who
your
were
other
your other
ones?
two?
You said you had multiples.
Yeah, I did. Let me see here.
The one that you said was
I
Coral.
said Coral. Paula and Tina.
Ooh.
Okay.
Tina's similar to Coral, like
Yep.
a lot of personality. She'd just fight you.
Yep.
Tina's the one that punched Beth in the face, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I loved that.
Yeah.
I got so excited when it
That was
happened.
fun.
I don't know about Paula. Like, she was always kind of middle of the road.
I liked Paula. I don't think she got more credit than she deserved.
I don't know. But again, I'm not saying my answer's good. I just trying to think of someone who like talks a lot that couldn't have competed in that final, and that was my answer.
Well, I think a couple of us disagree with that answer, but
That's fine.
It's opinion based. You
Right.
can have
Yeah.
whatever opinion you want.
Right.
I know I can. That's what I did. So I'm looking to you now.
Well, you want to go into this next little part here?
Yeah, because we just need to. We're gonna do a quick little. You reached out to people. I'll let
Yeah,
you take it
yeah.
away.
So, part of this 1 year
We're going longer than I expected.
Extravaganza.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting hungry.
is real quick. We'll go through this, just run through them. We wanted to know what were some memorable moments for you guys because this has been a memorable year. It's been a fun year. It's unlike what we expected going into it. And so we wanted to know like what some of your memorable moments were from listening to the pod or anything. So I'm just going to hit these real quick. You guys can, Mikey, you especially being a listener, if you remember, talk about it. Our guy Neil actually emailed us.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let me see here. He said some memorable moments for me this past year include Hannah's podcast under the influence of medications, which I think has happened multiple times.
But it was so good.
Yeah.
It happened a lot of times.
I actually prefer. Can we get you on medications most time? I just think it adds a whole new element.
I think that's
so
where the
good.
Joss
but you
quote
know
came
what?
from.
I think that has to be a special occasion.
Well, I will say, as of like this past week, I'm officially completely medicine free. I'm not taking anything.
All right. Well, good for you. Winter's coming though, so maybe.
We're in the dead heat of summer.
Yeah, it's freaking 90-something degrees outside, and then the humidity of 1,000 degrees.
I guess I ate a Pop-Tart loudly on the air one time. Did that happen?
Probably
You
because
used to,
I don't.
you used to eat your yogurt while talking.
I do not allow food when we record
Yeah.
anymore because you
Not
both eat it.
just when we record. 30 minutes before we record, you strictly are just like,
I don't like
do not bring food into this
in
room.
this room.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is,
Smart.
like, I try to, while he's setting up the mics and getting everything ready, I'm trying to eat as much as I can before we start. And then I always put the box away when we start.
No, you don't.
But
Not
he doesn't
always.
believe it.
No.
And I'm like, no,
So
I'm
I'm
not
moving
dumb
from
enough
over
to
there
eat
over
my,
here.
my crackers and my hummus while recording.
Oh, that's good.
I remember this one. Jake having no clue as to how an IUD was put into position.
Oh, my gosh.
I forgot about that.
You thought it was swallowed.
Actually, Neil was the one.
I thought it just plugged you up.
Neil was the one who emailed us
orally.
to correct you.
Yeah. So that was I remember that one.
You know what? Shout out to Neil. He might be our oldest confirmed listener, and he put our sticker on his car.
He's incredible.
Again,
he offered us, he welcomed us to his home, and he was going to make us Italian food.
his daughters will tweet for him to us. Love
Yeah.
it.
That's so nice.
We just need to figure out some time where our jobs are slow enough that we can make a trip over there.
And the last one he mentioned was Zach, you constantly having to corral the group to stay on task after the conversation gets way off track.
Someone on Twitter
Always.
or in
I think it was iTunes. Oh wait,
the Slack group was like, oh, one of my favorite. It was on Instagram. Was like, they listed a few things and we'll get to, but one of them was like, and Zach getting annoyed at Jake and Hannah all the time, and I was like, yeah, that happens a lot. It's like,
It happens just like when we're not in here. It happens like when we're
Really?
like when we go out to eat.
Yeah.
We'll just start
No.
talking about stuff, and he's like, God.
it happens. It happens in here. I don't care about that in
Yeah.
here because. Like, I do all the prep work, I'm getting
Yeah.
everything ready,
Uh-huh.
and they're just screwing around doing whatever
Hey,
they
we,
want.
We never claim to be tech wizards
And
over
so,
here,
like,
all right?
I'm like really
I never said I wasn't going to screw around.
I'm like dialing it in, and like I'm trying to get in like show mode. Like, all right, what do I got to hit? What do I got to
We're
Yeah.
trying to listen to Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
so-
Zach doesn't have his arms wide open. That's the problem.
After a while, I'm just like, stop. Like, we got to get going.
Right.
And-
We need to take you a little higher. Is what we need to do.
Okay.
That's my
I like
sacrifice.
that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And our guy Bill on Instagram said
That may be the one I'm talking
one of
about.
my favorites. He mentioned that his favorite moment is when I say, "How's everybody doing tonight?" So, Bill, for you, how you doing tonight, big guy?
That's not the phrase.
How's everybody
Not the
doing
phrase.
tonight?
Oh my
How's
gosh.
everybody doing tonight?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You just screwed that up.
Good one. Good one. Way to go.
Yeah. Well, I do what I can for the people I love. All right.
I thought
Okay.
we did with this for the kids.
No, we do. We do it
This
for the
is
kids.
a podcast for children.
Sorry, Twitter shut down on me. Here we go. And then Robyn here, fellow patron. Oh my God.
I hit his mic again. Your mic stand is so long compared to everyone else's.
You rammed it into his mouth.
Yeah.
In the corner of my eye, I want to say you just slammed it.
I moved my hand up and it
Okay.
caught underneath the
Okay,
boom.
Okay.
The boom part
Oh
of it.
man.
I think that was intentional.
I think it definitely registered. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna hear.
I-
You
it
hit
registered on my
so
face,
hard.
yeah. Women's gift to the earth is the first thing that comes to mind. I mean, I think.
And to be fair, we call that one back a lot.
Yeah. It was which you were medicated, which
Yes.
is why
I was
we need.
so high.
It was about Joss, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh huh.
He's so pretty.
So pretty.
But what ruined it for me, he put on Instagram a while back, he was out in the desert, like with an elephant or something, and he was in jean shorts and flip-flops.
She doesn't like that.
Really?
I don't like when men wear flip-flops.
Flip flops.
It freaks me out.
I'm glad you're not wearing flip flops.
I know. Thank gosh.
I probably would have cried.
She said that she likes how our Polly interview changed her perception on
Changed
him.
my
We had a
perception,
lot of
too.
people say that.
Like,
to be
Yeah.
honest.
I felt totally different.
I felt different.
And then of course she's a fan of how's everybody doing tonight. So Robyn,
No, screwed up again.
how's everybody doing tonight?
How you doing tonight, buddy?
Yeah. Our girl Kari, another fellow
Yep.
patron.
Kari.
She says it's hard to pick out isolated things, but all the banter between us three, mine and Wes's love-hate, which, I'll just say, Wes and I have an appreciation for one another, but we understand entertainment.
Right.
And we went into this both realizing, like, here's an opportunity to create really good podcasting. And we went with it.
So good.
And we cut each other down.
Yeah.
So, Hannah's love for Turbo.
He's amazing.
Which has been well documented. The fantasy draft with Logan was a good time,
Yeah,
and
that was
even
a
for
lot of
us,
fun.
that was a good time for us. And then she said, congrats, not grats, congrats, you're all the best. And,
Grats, guys, grats.
a couple of more here. Aaron, Wes giving me dating advice was hysterical.
So that
we-
was really good.
We didn't see that coming.
No,
but
no, he
it
brought
was
that up on his own.
Yeah.
It was an interesting little segment. And then lastly, our guy Connor, another fellow patron.
Our Big Brother expert.
Yeah, he's our resident Big Brother go-to. Selfishly, my favorite moment was getting to talk to y'all face-to-face, which is a perk of being a Bloodlines member.
Yeah, we randomly draw at least one a month that we'll we'll do a video interview. Actually, we don't put those anywhere else. Like, they're only on
Right.
Patreon.
Right.
And we do an audio version if you would just rather do that. But
Yeah,
that's
and,
fun because we get to hear everyone's background on their take on the show.
That's
Again,
really
he
cool.
came over from Big Brother.
But Mikey actually got to just
He's
come
here.
to the house.
Well, he's an exception because he lives
I live
close
Yeah.
enough to do it.
so that's
yeah.
literally face to face.
Right.
He said, you three are just so much fun to talk to. It was a cool opportunity, plus all the chat in the Slack group. Connor really loves being slacked. obviously.
I hate.
Jake
I
uses that as a
hate when
verb.
you say that.
So,
I hate it so much.
hey, there's nothing better than being slacked.
Oh.
He and then he just kind of goes on about how he appreciates how funny and positive we are and everything. And so listen, this last year has been pretty special.
Crazy.
I mean, it has. I'll just say I've said this before. I'll just say for me, going through what I went through over the last couple of years, like this, those first few months we did it was a real escape for me. And the fact that like people became invested in my dating life, which I don't mean to disappoint anyone, is on hold for the time being. I've had about enough. So, but just in general, like just the interaction with people, making new relationships and everything has been.
We get to talk to the people that we've been watching.
Yeah.
And
some of my
yeah,
like
that's really
years or more.
cool.
It's super super cool. It's meant the world to me, and I know for the other two in here, Mikey. I mean, since you're here, do you have anything that you want to add as a listener? You're speaking for the people.
Yeah, I feel like I should. We covered some. So Joss's Women's Gift to the Earth was a highlight. When Wes gave you the dating advice.
Yeah.
My God, I was like cackling at work.
Yeah.
It was so good. But you guys have seriously, you're my favorite podcast out there, and I just
some people
love
are gonna
it.
get upset.
I don't care. I love listening to y'all every week. It's just awesome. So I really appreciate everything that y'all do.
It's weird in person hearing that.
Yeah.
Because I'm really like, to be like mostly like self-deprecating. Like it's, I don't know. I probably don't take things like that well, but it is nice to hear that and like hear that people like really enjoy what we do, because we didn't know what we were doing.
Well,
Right,
that like people that don't know us actually like us.
Yeah, we met you because of this show.
Right,
And
exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
And now you live with us.
Oh yeah, Mike moved in.
yeah, he moved in today.
Yeah.
And we talked about it for recording. You're a lot taller than I expected.
Yeah,
and I don't
I'm a
know
tall
why.
guy.
I'm usually the
We didn't
tallest out of
expect
this
you to
group.
be short.
Right, right,
You're
right.
just-
Yeah.
You're very tall, and that's okay.
That's
'Cause
okay.
compared to me, everybody's tall.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a tall guy,
Bam.
Here
Mikey's
right
your
here.
man.
Mikey G.
We're dubbing him not just Mikey G, Tall Mikey G.
Yes.
okay.
Mikey Tall
I'll
G.
take it.
Mikey Tall G.
My middle name is T, so okay.
Oh,
It starts with
how
a T.
convenient.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
convenient.
Yeah.
Perfect.
that works out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Again, like from our perspective, we just want to thank everyone that's been with us for this year. We don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. As soon as season 34 kicks back up, we'll be going. But as of right now, we're doing the free agent recaps. We like doing that type of stuff. But we're not going anywhere. This first year has been like above and beyond, I think, what any of us would have thought would have happened. And so, again, we're just excited for the future and hope everything keeps growing and keep going from here.
I think we're having too much fun to quit.
I think
Because
even
this is like
Yeah.
a fun thing for us to do together.
I legitimately think if we had a tenth of the numbers and stuff we had, we would still just be doing it because it's just fun for us.
yeah.
And even like the interaction with people that we get, it's fun.
Because like when we started this, it was more along the lines of like beforehand we would like go home and watch it together. Like Zach and I would watch on our couch. Jake and his wife would be at their house watching, and
Why
like
would
we
you
would.
bring that up?
I know.
He
Shout
brought
out
it
to
up.
her, man.
He brought it up earlier, but like as we were watching, we would text each other like, "Can you believe that just
Oh my
happened?" So I mean, like we would have sat and talked about it
So-
anyway,
so-
just recording it and like putting it out there. I mean, even if nobody listened, we didn't expect anybody to listen. We did not expect this at all. 90,000 downloads or whatever. I don't know how many it was.
It's over that.
Because that's kind of mind-boggling. Like
And you know what?
that just hasn't set in.
I'm gonna give a special shout out to Reddit. A lot of early adopters on Reddit
Yeah.
kind of came along with us, and so
Not only are you a tech guru, you're a message board guru.
I have
You've been
always,
doing it your whole
I
life.
have
Yeah.
always been on message boards
Yeah.
to some degree. But yeah, it's been crazy. And one thing I don't know if we've ever talked about on air. We talked about doing a podcast like this a while back.
Really?
And
like a few years ago.
His ex-wife was going to be part of, like, in the consideration.
Yeah, she
And, like,
she talked to me about it. And
four
she's
of
like,
us.
we all four need to do this together.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
why are we not?
And so we were like,
So you guys would have gotten to experience the divorce live.
Oh my
So
god!
shout out, yeah.
so
Yeah.
we
We would
didn't.
have recorded the fights and everything.
Oh man!
I have to say, we were very like good in front of people.
Yeah.
You would have never known.
Yes, I had no idea
Yeah.
until like you came and talked to us about it,
We put up a good front.
and then you put up another good front.
She
and
was a
we
good
thought
partner in that
everything was
regard.
good.
That's about it.
You're
Well,
really good at deceiving people.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about it, and then it was like, we don't really know what we're doing. We don't have time. We put it off, and then last year, I think I texted. I mean, Hannah was here, but I think I texted Jake in just a group message, and I was like, "Do you guys want to do this?" Mm-hmm. And we're like, "Okay." And I got on Amazon. I ordered everything from
So
Amazon
cool.
Prime, and I was like, "Let's just do it." Jake had a mic. I bought all this stuff that we have, and then I just taught myself how to use Adobe Audition, and we just went for it.
Here we are.
Cool.
And
love
I
it.
think it's because we had a deadline. We're like, this season starts in 4 days. Like, we've got to figure this out. And so we just did it. And I think if we wouldn't have had that, like, initial push, I don't know where we would have been. But I think it's been one of the most, like, rewarding creatively things, like, any of us have ever done.
I think it's
Yeah.
a lot more fun, even just watching the show, because we know that we're going to have like input and opinions from other people, and then we can like talk about it, and that makes it more fun because we have like if the three of us all agree on the same thing, we may get somebody in our Slack group that's like, no, I feel the exact opposite, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
And to be fair, like, you know, a lot of people say, you know, when you have to do things, because I feel like at this point, like, we have to, like,
We feel obligated.
we have an obligation,
way.
but it's not like we're ever
Like we
dreading
dread
it.
it.
Yeah. We're always like excited to watch it and then talk about it. Like, even if we've had long, crappy days, and sometimes this season on Wednesdays, like,
It's so hard.
Jake doesn't
Wednesdays
get
are
out of
so
here till
hard.
sometimes like 1 a.m. or
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and we all got to work.
And then
the
we
next
have
day.
to work the next morning.
I'm waking up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Get ready for work.
gross.
And
Yeah.
so, like, as soon as he leaves, I'm like editing everything, getting it going, because we want to get it up that night because we made that promise.
Of course.
And
yeah, I would always be in your DMs like, when's it coming up? Yeah.
Is it up yet? I'm waiting.
I know.
So, I mean,
We
again,
had a couple people that were like that. Like, we're waiting.
Yeah.
it's a sacrifice that we make, but it's not one that like we regret or that we would do. Like, if we really hated it, we could make an excuse to move it. But
Yeah.
we like doing it. So again, we just want to thank everyone that's listened so far. And I mean, I don't really have anything else to say. I think
It's been a fun
we're
ride.
genuinely humbled by how far it's
For sure.
gone.
Absolutely.
And
The fact that I got to talk to Brandon Nelson.
So cool. I'm jealous.
that was our first interview ever.
Yeah.
Like,
And Devin and Wes.
not Cam, and you still haven't listened to it. And Marie and Shane and God, who I'm missing someone.
Oh, the greatest of all,
Polly.
Pauly.
Polly, Tori, and Kendall, and
Kayla.
Yeah, again, we've done
Those
a
are
lot.
really recent.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It's hard to keep track of at this point, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Uh-huh.
So again, we just want to thank everyone. Mikey, you got anything to plug?
No.
Okay.
What about your Twitter? Your Twitter's pretty,
Oh,
pretty
Plug
hopping.
your Twitter because
I
you're
don't-
part of staying Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know my though.
Oh my,
Hold on, let's
my
get you. Let's get you
gosh.
taken care of.
Let's all pull out our phones.
Everybody, find
Come on. Come
find
on.
Mikey on
Yeah.
I
Twitter.
got it. I got it ready.
Okay.
It's
Ugh.
at Mikey Todd 42,
That's-
not Mikey Tall.
That's 2 D's. TODD.
Yep.
MIKEYTODD 42.
Yep.
Which is also not the year he was born, so don't get it twisted.
No, it's just my favorite
He's
number.
also
Yeah.
not
I'm not-
42
You'd be like
years old.
you'd be like 84.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, again, we made it 1 year. Didn't think we'd make it this far, but we did.
Next
And
year, we're going to actually throw a party.
with Shailene.
Yes.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
But we're not going to invite Shailene.
Oh.
We'll throw the birthday party.
You know, she'd show up and we wouldn't know it one way or the
Yeah.
other.
Mikey, I'm gonna give you the honors.
What?
Send us out.
I don't know how. Have a good night, everyone.
That's it. Yes. Yes.